see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, get any.
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. I have with me Bo. McLovin will be in here shortly. You know, who knows when he's going to show up. Sometimes he's early, sometimes he's late. You know, you never know with those Cowboy fans.
That's right.
What's up, Bo? How are you?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Doing wonderful. So, Bo, I'm going to start off. We talked about this for a half a second offline. It's Super Bowl time. Everybody wants a piece of us, wants a piece of the pie. They all want to be able to talk to us and do that. How many shows are you doing right now?
Like today or just like this week? What do you mean?
This week, all the different shows. I mean, obviously this is one, but
yeah. So I'll probably be on, obviously counting this show as just one all week, right? I'll probably be on, what I think it's 15 shows this week.
15 shows.
15 shows, and then if you did it in like hours, I'll probably be in front of the camera for, I don't know, 20 something hours this week.
20 something hours. That's a lot of time in front of a camera. And you're not that pretty.
I agree. On the plus side, I'm looking at the camera, not at me. Otherwise, I don't know if I could do this job.
Yeah, exactly correct. I understand. Me, I don't have as many shows like that. All told, I'll probably be on somewhere around 8 to 10 shows completely. But that's okay with me. I'm all right with only being on 8 shows. You know what I mean? I don't need to have a whole bunch of shows. And Wen says that you're right there. So
Wen, you're all right. I don't like this Pags guy anymore anyway.
It's sometimes I have big hair, sometimes the small hair, it is what it is. But obviously, as the clock is ticking, it's getting closer and closer to Super Bowl Sunday. And there's a lot of things going on, but today also is the NBA trade deadline. So I'm going to start with that because as of right this second, the Sixers have made a trade. And there's been a couple of trades that have occurred. So we're going to get you up to the moment stuff that's been going on. Let's go with let's go with all the trades that started yesterday. There was tons of them. And I'll end with the Sixers. The Jazz send Fontecchio to Detroit for Kevin Knox, Gabriel Procida, at least his draft rights, and a 2024 second round pick. So there you go. That was the first one that came out. And then the Celtics got Xavier Tillman, and they give up Lamar Stevens and a second round pick in 2027 and a second round pick in 2030.
All right.
So, I mean, those second round picks, 100 years from now work out great.
Right.
An ex-Sixer gets traded again. The Pistons receive Shake Milton, who was a Sixer last year, and they traded Monte Morris, Troy Brown Jr., and a second round pick in 2030. So lots going on there. We're going to pass with the Sixers ones because I could talk about that for a moment. But the Raptors got Olenek and Agabaji for Kira Lewis from the Jazz. and a first round pick in 2024, and that's the least favorable first round pick of the four first round picks except their own. So Oklahoma City, the Clippers, Houston, and Utah. Wow, the Raptors have 5 first round picks. So
Wow.
the least one is going to the Jazz. Uh, Gordon Hayward winds up in OKC, and the Hornets receive Trey Mann and Davis Bertans. And the Knicks get Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks, and they traded half of their team, it seems like. Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, Ryan Arcadano, and that guy I know is because he was a Villanova Wildcat, and actually was the guy who hit the winning shot to win. Actually, he didn't hit it, but it was played out for him. And 2 second-round picks. They don't say the dates. And then, of course, the Sixers get Buddy Hield, and they traded Marcus Morris and Furkan Korkmaz and a second-round pick in 24 and 2 second-round picks in 2029 and $1.5 million cash. So Buddy Hield is now a 76er, and that is up to the moment trade deadline. It ends at 3 o'clock, so 1 hour after our show today. The trade deadline will be over, so we will see what happens. In the meantime, anything stand out to you a little bit? I know that you could really care less about any of these
Yeah,
teams, right?
not a huge NBA guy. I mean, none of those moves seem like they're blockbuster moves, though, right? Like you're shuffling guys around. I don't know that it necessarily moves the needle a ton for any of these teams.
Uh, maybe Bogdanovich.
Maybe, yeah,
Maybe with the Knicks. I know that they're injury ridden right now.
yeah,
As you heard, I left the moment that they started talking about New York teams on
yeah.
yesterday's show because I just was not really interested in hearing how he loves the Knicks and blah blah blah. The Knicks are the
Well, you had
Knicks.
to get to your show anyway, right?
I did.
Yeah.
So, and it's bad enough I got to listen to Cowboy banter and Giants banter. I don't want to have to listen to Knicks banter as well, because Mac is very he loves his teams. Mac loves his
Yep.
teams,
No,
and
it was actually funny because really all that came of it was me saying, yeah, it doesn't really matter what they do. It's the Knicks and they're going to fall apart.
yes, that is correct. And there you go. Brian Johnson did land with the Commanders. That is a little funny. Good for him. You know what I mean? That's what happens with these coaches. They all wind up landing on their feet,
Oh,
unless you are too big of a guy, and then you don't get
that's right. You
don't
can't
get a
be
job
tall.
like Mike Vrabel.
That's right. You
Because
just can't be a
you're
big
too
hero.
scary. Boo, boo.
Uh,
So ridiculous. So ridiculous how that all works out. But again, that's like I said. I'm sure there will be more trades at the NBA trade deadline today. It's just like I don't know.
for sure.
You're right. None of these really do make the needle move for me a little bit. I feel like that the fact that the Knicks traded off like 4 guys for those 2 guys, they're still the Knicks.
Yeah. No,
So
exactly. Yeah.
I can't imagine anything else is going to happen. Um, let's going back. There are a couple of free agents that are talking about, or not even free agents. They are talking about re-signing. In the NFL, and Justin Jefferson is looking for an extension.
I mean, that would
And
make sense. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's played pretty well. Uh, how much money do you think Justin Jefferson should receive? So thinking that the $30 million a year that Tyreek Hill gets
Yeah. Yeah. I
is
would
the
bet. I mean, I understand he was hurt, but when he wasn't, you know, obviously very dynamic player, he's probably going to get close to that 20 mil a year type of money.
boy gets. He's got $20 million a year now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be kind of in that same boat, and I think some of it is because he's been injured. had he stayed healthy the whole time, I think that would go up. But I could see him in that 2023 kind of range with some with escalators, right? Like it, yardage totals to get to, maybe a Pro Bowl escalator, all pro escalator kind of thing. So I think there's going to be some incentive based things in the contract, but I would bet that base is somewhere around 2023, somewhere around in there.
So this says that his next contract could eclipse the the average
Really?
salary of $30 million a year.
That's funny. I guess the injury thing weighs a little more in my mind than maybe it does around the league, I guess. And maybe it's just because my teams have always had injuries. And so it's just like, man, we should probably not pay these guys, be in cap hell, and not be able to go get somebody when they get hurt.
Well, how much is DK making? I mean, because I compare the two. Jefferson's actually had a little bit better of a career from the beginning to now. So if you compare the two,
Yeah.
Jefferson's probably had a little bit better of a career to start off, but they're very similar, in terms of build and such.
Yeah. I mean, let's see, his average salary is 24. Yeah.
So, I mean, now we're talking Jefferson's had a better season than him.
Well, and he also signed that 2 years ago. So there's going to be, yeah, I guess he's probably going to be, close to that, which is, close to Tyreek money. So yeah, I mean,
$30 million a year is not bad. To catch a football.
I think I could make the numbers bump together. Yeah.
just a little bit. I could make that all occur, and just be fine with it.
I'd struggle. There'd be some things I'd pay a couple days late or something, but I think I could make it work.
Gotcha. So, and all right, we got a couple of updates from, Chris says that House is going to the Pistons. Let's see if they mention it yet. I don't know that they have. At least it's not reported as of yet, so I can't say about it. Yep. Until it gets reported, I'm not going to report it. And then here we go. This is the other one. Murray talks between the Pelicans and the Hawks have stalled. You think the Lakers are going to do anything? I think the Lakers are sellers, not buyers. Just my thought. But
yeah, I'm with you there.
They won their championship so far this year. They made that money, and now they don't need to play anymore. So that's
right. They're going to hang that goofy banner.
Hey, they were the first one to hang it. God bless them.
Yep, sure they were.
So, but hold on, he just sent it. Nope, I can't see it there, Chris, because I'm not part of that group. But that's okay. Anyways, back to the NFL. You know what? I saw something that Chris Jones, he's saying that this could be his last game as a Kansas City Chief. Now, that's because, he held out this year, and they gave him a 1-year contract. Since he came back, the defense was able to turn around. Obviously, he missed that first game, needed to get in playing shape, and then by the end of the season, he was still the best defensive player on that squad.
Yep.
Where do you think he goes, and how much money is he going to get?
At this point, you're going to, if he gets a ring, right, then you're playing for dollars, right? At the end of the day, you want to maximize contracts, but you also want a championship at some point in your career. So, if you collect the ring, you can chase dollars if you want, right? So, as far as who picks him up, I don't know. There's a lot of teams that could use him.
I agree. But I think that there's only a certain amount of teams that actually pay for those positions. One of them happens to be the Eagles.
True.
So I would not be surprised if the Eagles make a play for him. After, when the new season begins, and pay him that type of money. Now, I don't know if they're going to be paying him $30 million a year. Right now, he's making $25 million a year. Fletcher Cox, not withstanding, obviously, he came down at a hometown discount. I believe he will do that again this year.
Yeah.
I know that Brandon Graham is going to want to re-sign here. He will probably give a hometown discount. You have the two young kids, which I think are absolutely would learn a tremendous amount. However, it's a 3-4 defense now that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So you got, so Davis is going to be switching back and forth with Carter there. Is Carter going to move to the outside? Is he going to be a defensive end? And I know that they like to use the wide nine here. That Fangio is a big fan of the wide nine, and with the wide nine, you have all those different things going on. So, especially with uh, Brandon Graham wanting to come back, and you know Reddick's still a great player when he's not going out in coverage. That they may be tight in that spot right there, but they may also want, when you have the ability to go get a guy like that, you want to go get him.
Well, and you guys have the cap for it. I mean, you could afford it.
Well, we've got what's it? We're 25 million over the cap or under the cap.
Yeah.
So,
and you're going to have some guys that are going to filter out. So, I mean, I would imagine that number will grow a little bit during this offseason. So, I mean,
and we have a master capologist working with us. So,
for sure. Yeah. Well, especially if you like backload a contract and stuff. I mean, like you could make it work.
Okay, here we go. And it says that House and a 2024 second round pick to the Pistons. And they're thinking about maybe this is just to make some space. That says so. House is going to the Pistons just to clear up some space so that they could maybe pick up Kyle Lowry when they do the buyout process. At least that's what this report says. We'll see. I know that the Sixers want to try to make something happen here. They're going to do everything they can to get past the second round this year. So we'll see how that all plays out. But as of right now, that's what's going on in the NBA as far as the trade deadline. Seattle still hasn't picked up a team yet, so they're not trading for anybody just yet.
We are not trading. Yeah. We're
No.
trying to
the
trade
Sonics.
Do
you think that it would come back that it would be called the Sonics again?
I do believe it would be, yeah.
That you guys kept the name and said Seattle Supersonics is what we are, and
so we get to keep the name. We don't get to keep the records. So that was the thing that was hilarious about it. So if you go back through the record books, the championship that they did win in the 70s says Oklahoma City Thunder on it. So they rewrote the history book for some reason. Yeah.
Hey, well, that's what happens. We have, that was part of the Mandela effect. Seattle never had a team. It was always in Oklahoma City.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Kemp, I don't understand how Kemp even played over there. You know what I mean? He's got all those shops in OKC.
Yep.
So,
exactly. Yeah. He's never even been to the Northwest.
Exactly. It's just I don't understand. I don't understand how Seattle even thinks that they ever had a basketball team. This is why basketball in Seattle is not ever going to take off, because everybody is like, you guys stole our team and then you stole our championship. So do they still hang that banner in the rafters there? I don't know if you've been to a hockey game, but I know at the Wells Fargo Center, they hang both the Flyers banners and the Sixers banners. If you look up there in the rafters.
So I would bet money they do when we get a basketball team back. I would bet that's not in there. I haven't been to a Kraken game yet, but I would bet money that banner is not in there because we don't have a team. But when they do bring basketball back to Seattle, I would bet that they hang that banner, even if it's not in the record books, right? Because we remember we had a team.
Right, exactly. It's like even though everybody else's memory might be a little different, OKC said they won that championship. It really was in Seattle.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if we never had a team, I'm not really sure what I did for a couple hours in that stadium. every time I went. Like
Yeah,
I don't. I guess I don't know what I was watching. I was just sitting there because
exactly, exactly. Nelson Mandela. It's all Nelson Mandela. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's all the Philly sports guy's fault.
yeah, it's right.
That's
Yeah, you
yeah.
just ruined sports across the globe. That's really what happened.
Exactly. That's the reason why Seattle never won a championship
Yeah, that's
because the
right.
Philly sports guy, was the reason why the dark plague happened, and it's oh my lord, all of it goes back to one event.
Yep. Yep. Well, I mean, the Dark Ages make sense now. The burning books, and yeah, okay.
Exactly. But so and when did they say that you guys are looking to get a team? Because I know that they're
So
going to put a team in Vegas too. So
yeah, realistically, it'll be when the TV contract comes up, right? Because that'll be part of your negotiating ability. Is hey, we're adding a couple of teams. You're going to have all these more games and all of that, right? So it. I believe that is slated for the end of 25. I think is when that TV contract comes up. I could be remembering that wrong. So if somebody's watching and wants to look that up, awesome. But I believe 25 is the end of that contract.
okay,
So if
so
you were doing an expansion,
maybe
it'd
we'll
be for the 26 season.
2025-26 season. Got it. Okay. So we'll have to find that out. I'm sure Chris is already on it doing his research. He likes to do all that stuff for me behind the scenes, and I really do appreciate all that such. Uh,
Absolutely.
in the meantime, like I said, we talked about a bunch of different things yesterday, and obviously, having Hollis Thomas on here, we got to get a good idea of uh, just what it takes to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan in comparison to beating up Cowboys fans because he did that pretty well yesterday. Uh, Jay was not really able to have much of a leg to stand on. He was just trying to yell louder, and it's hard to get louder than a tank.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
but
He was
it was
trying
it
though.
was kind of yeah, it was kind of interesting to hear some of his take on things and how Vic, what he thought about how the Eagles were going to progress here. One of the things I didn't get a chance to ask him as we ran out of time because he feels a very specific way about Pete Carroll. Uh,
Okay.
Before Tank retired, that was his last spot that he went to was Seattle. He went up there, and one of his a veteran friend of his said, "Listen, Pete Carroll does not care that you're a veteran. You know what I mean? They're gonna beat you up. You know what I mean? And they want to see if you can handle it or not." And he went up there and he said he did that workout. He goes, "Okay, we're just starting now. Let's go. Let's go out in the field." He's like, "What?" I'm like, you're going to beat me up. I'm just coming in here. You know what? Send me back home, first class, and I'm going to eat these sandwiches over here. And that's kind of how it ended, and that's how he ended his career. Instead of getting beat up by Pete Carroll. So he's got a very specific thought process about the way Pete Carroll does things,
Yep.
and ultimately at that point of his career, he wasn't really interested in you know, trying to prove himself to anybody. He's already, you knew what you were getting with him.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
obviously,
that's just how the Seahawks operate, though. I mean that was the Pete Carroll always compete kind of thing. Is like I don't care how long you've been here, you earn your job every week.
so do you think that that's going to carry over?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine not in a way, right? I mean, I would imagine McDonald has his own process that he wants to do. I know that Schneider and Jody Allen were like, we want to keep this same culture, right? This upbeat, energized culture. But I don't know if that type of thing necessarily, stays at least in the capacity that it currently is. He may adopt some of it just because it is a good way to get, the most out of your players, right? So some of that he may adopt, but I mean, he's going to bring his own spin to, being the head coach.
No, and I understand that. I think about, when you say the culture and you want the upbeat team, I immediately think of some of the colleges.
Okay.
and how you have some of those colleges that have all the guys, the entire game are jumping up and down.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think about that in a couple of different ways. One, if you're jumping up and down all game long, you're tiring yourself out by the time you get really out there.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, maybe some of those guys ain't playing, and that's why they can jump up and down entire game. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because they got all that energy. They're trying to rile their team up. Hey, listen, I know what it's like. I played softball, but I definitely played softball on a team that I was not good enough to really be on.
Sure.
So I'm the bench guy, and I'm going to be the guy that's going to always be loud. Go figure, and
Yeah.
be cheering on my guys nonstop.
Well,
And
sure, because
you
you're
know,
the hype man at that point.
exactly, because hey, when they put me out there and I get to pinch hit on occasion, I get to play, I try to do as best as I can with it. But ultimately, I am not an A player, especially at my age. You know, I was over
Sure.
40 years old and I was playing on an A ball team. I am not an A ball player. I am more of a C D and probably now rec league. You know, I'm probably not even that good. Like it's going to be hard for me to get around on a slow pitch softball. But yeah,
Yeah.
but you know understand what I'm talking about. You know, what I
Oh,
mean, I used to
100%.
have
Yeah.
some power, and there was a time I could have played a ball, but that time had passed, and I was still on the team. And you got to be able to cheer. You know, you got to be able to hype your guys up that are playing. So I can appreciate that, but ultimately the jumping up and down the whole time is you're wasting you're wasting that energy. Now I know in the NFL that's not really a thing. You're not
Yeah.
going to see that happen very
They
much.
don't do that.
But
Yeah.
what is it that you would say happens with a team, even in the semi-pro? How do you rally around? Like, how does that occur when you have that many personalities and that many egos that you got to hype up? You know, does you look to one guy? Do you look to a select few? I guess that would be your captains, or is it kind of the job of everybody on the team to try to hype each other up?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the job of everybody. I mean, you don't really have. I mean, yeah, it really is kind of everybody coming together. Like if you got somebody that's struggling, you try and pick them up. You know, you're just like, hey, man. I don't know. You didn't really need crazy hype guys. Like you guys spend so much time together that you can tell if someone's off, and you're just like, okay, like what kind of what's going on. So, for example, if we were playing like a cover two, and I had, say, my safety or my inside linebacker, they were just struggling in coverage or something, right? I'll adjust my zone, right, to try and pick them up, and that'll, in a way, can help bring them back into the game too, right? So it doesn't have to be just like smacking the helmet trying to hype them up. You can just be like, hey man, like we're in this together. We both got to do our job today. And if I can shade over my zone to help you out, and then that allows you to, maybe break down into a flat where maybe I can't cover as well anymore because I'm shading back into coverage for you. You're making those adjustments. They're not really coaching adjustments, they're player adjustments on the field in the fly. And that can bring morale in that moment back up, rather than I have my zone. I'm going to hang out here and I don't care if you get barbecued all day. It's just like, oh, okay, no, let's slide these things around. And, that can bring somebody back into the game.
Now, as a coach, and you start to see that, do you just let that occur? Or do you say, okay, obviously you're shading over too much. It's only going to be a moment of time, a matter of time before you get beat in the process of trying to hold back your other guy. Maybe we should switch this guy out a little bit. Or
So,
I
so that will happen, right? Like, I mean, because the coach is seeing the same stuff, and they're going to see you make these small adjustments, because your safety also has to make an adjustment too. Because say I'm shading over, well, now that safety has to shade out a little bit, right? Because I'm not necessarily, going to be able to, you know, go with a guy as wide. I mean, so there's everybody has to adjust a little bit to accommodate that. And if your second string guy is comparable talent, yeah, maybe you swap them out. But if they're not, you'd be like, okay, I see what you guys are doing. Um, you know, put in a mix of it, right? So it's not like you're going to run that every time because you'll get beat, you know.
Right.
But if you're mixing it up so that you're able to help each other out, you're again, you can help your guy, and sometimes it'll be enough to get them back into their game, and you can go back to what you were doing. Right. Sometimes you just need that mental clarity. You're like, oh, okay, I got help if I need it. Or, like for me, pre-game, didn't matter how long I played, what level I played, whether it was high school, semi-pro, arena, didn't matter. Right. I had a lot of anxious energy going into a game, which is why I always played any kind of special teams that got me on the field to go hit somebody on the first play, because I needed that contact to get my head right for the game. As soon as I went down, put my helmet on somebody, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to play. But I mean, if you saw me before the kickoff, like I'm out there moving. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then, yeah, as soon as I got out there and hit somebody, then I'm like, all right, let's play some football.
Right. That's now I'm going to talk about you more specific here. Obviously, you were a cornerback. Did you prefer zone or did you prefer man to man?
I liked man because I ran a 4.340. Right. So I always loved that everybody thought they were going to burn me because they're just like, it's a shorter white guy. I got this. Right. So the first time I'd line up against somebody that I'd never played before, they'd step out against me and they'd tap their helmet like hot route, I'm going to be open. And then it's just like, all right, it's cute. You think that. And it's also why I never talked a lot. Right. Like I wasn't a trash talker. It's just like, okay, like if you're going to beat me, you're going to earn it. And,
Right.
so yeah, no, it was always fun. So one of the most common like after game handshakes I always got was, "Damn, you're fast."
You surprised me for a cracker.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it was definitely one of the most common responses afterwards. So
Yeah. No, and I can believe that. I mean, it's yeah, and I get it. So I obviously I when I played, I was always, and I never played up into your level, but it was always playing safety because I was good at closing on a ball. I would be able to see where the ball, where he was going to throw the ball and close, and then I was also very good at getting my hand on the ball as they were going to catch it and knocking it out of their hands. Somebody showed me how to do that one time, and it was one of the one things that I was able to do very well. But I could catch the ball when I needed to. You know what I mean? So if I had a good, route on it, I would be able to intercept the ball and things like that. But obviously, I'm not doing it at your level. I wasn't even semi-pro. I was definitely rec league and things of that nature. But it makes a big difference when you're able to do those types of things. You would burn right past me because there's no chance I was going to be able to run step for step with anybody like
yeah,
that. So that's why I had to be
a safety,
20 yards back. You know what
absolutely.
I mean? So, because a
Yeah,
lot of the times, I mean,
safety is all about angles, right? I mean, it's about reading the play and the angle to get there.
right,
As a corner, you got to be there, step for step. I actually kind of struggled at safety because sometimes I'd play free safety, and I struggled there because I was so used to being a corner that it was really hard not to break on a play. Right? You see it developing. You know what the play is, but you got a guy that you have to account for, even though you kind of know what's going on. The ball hasn't passed the line of scrimmage. So as much as you want to break down on that, you're like, my obligation's out here. And just mentally, you're like, but I want to go hit this dude. Like, but I'm also
right,
not going to get burned over the top. So sometimes you're kind of fading out there and you're not even really running on this play because this guy is out here. You have to account for him. And then, finally it breaks in and you can break down on it, but you're never going to get there at that point. You're 30 yards away. And so you have some of those plays where you almost feel like you're out of the game as a safety. And it was just something that I struggled with how much action you get as a corner.
right. No, and I can imagine that because like you are running routes and such like that. And when you were covering somebody, if you're doing man-to-man coverage,
Yep.
obviously, what are you watching on them? Because obviously routes, the double moves, there are so many corners that get beat with double moves.
Sure.
And ultimately, I feel that they get beat with double moves because they're watching the wrong part of their body. You know, they're watching either somebody's eyes or somebody's feet, not really the body language. My thought is that you're supposed to watch their sternum. You know what I mean? Kind of that's really if you got your eye on their sternum, there's only so much juking that they can do in that spot. They have to be able to do that so that they can move their core the way that they need to for the route.
Yeah.
Is that a true statement, or am I way off with that? Or
No, I mean, you're not wrong, right? You're gonna go where your hips and your head go, right? Like you can only fake so much before that momentum carries you whatever direction. Um, Now, some of those, whether I was in man or zone, I played a lot of press, right? Because I knew most people weren't going to run by me, right? So I'd come up and I'd jam you. That disrupts a lot of double moves because a lot of times it'll mess timing up as far as you being able to get open by the time the quarterback is getting pressure. So, but when it came to a double move, it really depended on who it was. Like your odds of getting beat on a double move for a guy you've never seen before is much higher than a guy that you've seen some tape on, right? Like if you've played against him or you see some tape, you start looking at things that they do as tendencies because everybody has their own thing. Whether they come up and they chop their feet to do a break or something like that, or if they're just a really good plant and go kind of person because you got to guard that guy differently, right? If they chop their feet, you got to make sure that you don't end up chasing a direction. When they're a really good plant and go person, you got to be ready to turn when they do because they're not necessarily going to get a crisp double move in 2 steps, right? They usually carry enough momentum with them that they'll be a few steps out before they can make that break. So it really just depends. Some of it's your own footwork technique on whether or not you get burned, and how aggressive you are on that first break. So a lot of the double move guys, they'll have seen an out, half a dozen times by the same receiver, and then they do that double move, but they were biting on that out route, and then that guy is home free unless the safety is really paying attention.
right, and that's I kind of look at that like that's what stop and go routes. Stop and go routes are
Yep.
probably one of the uh, yeah, the hardest ones for me to kind of have dealt with, like I said, on any level, because as you start to go there and your momentum shifts and then they go blow past you, like that's where they would get me because
Yeah.
I didn't have the speed to be able to catch back up. And if the ball, I would need whoever the quarterback was to air it a little bit, put a little
Yep.
bit too much arc on it so that I could catch back up, or else I was going to get burnt. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, like I said, I'm not a professional, and you
Yep.
know, I also didn't care that much. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Yep.
not playing for any, big amount of money. You know what I mean? If you're going to burn me,
Uh,
you're going to burn me, and that's that. So
to be fair, like a dig and go kind of route is tough because if they have a quarterback that is really good about getting the ball out, right? You 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 have to bite a little bit on that dig route, otherwise it's open all day, right? But if you got a guy that is really fast, um, that's almost where you would need your strong safety to drop down on him and your free safety to kind of stay over the top, right? Kind of do a little bit of a hybrid blanket coverage on the back end. If you got a guy that's really good at doing a route like that.
was there anybody that you had that you remember that just toasted you every time you guys played?
No, not really. I did have a teammate that he was probably one of my favorite guys to play against. So it was and he would toast me sometimes in practice for sure. He was a ton of fun to play against, and I'm glad I didn't have to guard him in games because he was incredibly fast in and out of breaks. He was a guy that double moves. He would get me on double moves for sure. So my buddy Pipe, if you're watching, he knows that. He was fun to play against. A guy I remember playing because he talked a little bit and he couldn't get away from me was Taco Wallace, former Seahawk. He was playing with the Stallions, and he was chirping a little bit in one of those games, and so that was fun to go up against him. But yeah, no, I mean, I would say that my teammate probably burned me more than anyone else.
Got ya. Well, at least you guys were fighting on the same side.
Exactly.
Yeah. And somebody who gets burnt all the time. Welcome, Jay, to the show. He's here.
Somebody.
Yeah, a little early today, but we appreciate that.
Oh yeah. No, I get burnt quite often. The wife burnt me last night, so yeah, we were having a little race, and I found out that my niece sucked, and she was not going to come back for me, and yeah, so
she broke your ankles, and
oh man, bro, you ever see when they say, like when in basketball where they say, oh, he broke his ankle? Yeah, she broke the shit out of him.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh no! And the funny thing is, on the way down, she wasn't even coming back. She was just laughing. She kept on because we've been bringing in the groceries, and I'm like, well, what if I had the glass stuff? She said, I don't care.
She'd have been like, "You're going back to the
she
store."
She didn't even care,
that's
bro. It's like, it's Jay.
That's awesome.
Like, I said, so I get it at home. I get it with Pags. I get it with Bo. I mean, I just
you just get it in general, huh? It's all the time.
So, man, we're talking routes. What is that? What we're talking about?
That's what we were just talking a little bit about, just like covers and stuff like that. It's those types of things that I'm trying to, I'm diving into the actual processes of playing rather than playing. You know what I mean? That's just a little bit with the cornerback. Like I said, the things I didn't play in a professional level, so I can only talk to people about it and what my assumptions are, because you got to be able to play on that level to understand it, and I just didn't drive that fast. I never drove that fast. Those guys drive at 1,000,000 miles an hour. When you're playing semi-pro, that's 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm playing at I can't drive 55. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I've always thought of it. I always felt like the NFL, those dudes are playing with high performance engines, and probably like you said, I think the 6 cylinders at the semi-pro, and then I've got over here, I've got like a little 2-cylinder moped, so.
Got
See, I'm not the 2-cylinder. I'm the rotating 3-cylinder engine. That Mazda engine. You know what I
mean? Hey, I'm the guy that's going down the freeway in a moped, and the guy behind me is like, "You son of a bitch!"
That's right. Why are you in the left lane?
So, also, real quick, I mean, obviously, today is the day of the NBA trade deadline. Are you always wearing a Houston Rockets hat? I assume you're a Rockets fan.
Yeah. Like I said,
that's not why he wears that.
I go for is I know it's crazy. The only Dallas team I go for is the Cowboys. Everything else, I am Houston. Everything else.
That's not why he wears that hat. This is a walking HR violation. That's what that is. It's just so that HR knows where he is.
I try to remind Pags, hey, we're HR today, so calm down. And the red means stop. See, HR and red go together. It means stop.
Yeah, it means you're supposed to stop everything.
Hey, it's something that Vince McMahon never had.
That is absolutely true. It's as we'll talk about that afterwards as we get closer to WrestleMania on whether he's going to be able to come back for that. Obviously, the Rockets made a trade at the beginning of the month on the 1st to get Steven Adams. Do you think they'll do anything else?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think they're going to ride with what they have. I got to be honest with you guys. I didn't like the Steve Adams trade. I did not like that at all because they're not going to get him until next year. And I don't know if you watched him a whole lot with Memphis and what he did out there. I'm sure you guys did, but he wasn't really all that effective. It's almost like he's kind of like the game has passed him by a little bit. He's a little slower, a little more anyway. He's that old school, and he's older.
Is this Aquaman? Is Steven Adams Aquaman?
No, that's Momoa, but yeah, you're not too far off.
You know who I'm talking about, though. No, he looks like Momoa, right? He looks like Momoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I see him, I think that's Aquaman. So
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. It's
yeah,
Aquaman that you
yeah.
guys traded for, and you guys
Yeah.
got rid of Victor Oladipo.
I'm okay with the
So
Oladipo. We were going to use him anyway. I think Oladipo was just more for cap relief, things like that. But so I'm okay with them letting go of Oladipo. The problem I have with they gave up 3 second-round picks, and I thought that was way too much to give up for a guy who is that old and injured, and basically the game has kind of passed him up. And then why do we have this guy, and I can't say his last name, but you seen him on the commercials. He's got the big ears, play with Dallas, a 7-footer, Match Shavaric, or whatever his name
oh
is.
yeah,
Why the
I
hell
know
do we still
exactly.
have him on the roster?
Well,
Seriously.
because you need to have 12 guys on your roster or 15 guys on your roster,
It's fine.
anyways.
I'm pretty sure there's like 12 other guys that are sitting around the local water hole that are better than this guy.
And I know exactly who you're talking about because the guy is really tall. He's what, like 7'4", and he was best friends with Tobias Harris, so he was here with the Sixers for a minute. But he isn't very good at basketball.
He's really
he
not.
can rebound. He can rebound sometimes. You know what I mean? But it sounds ridiculous to think that a guy 7'4" is not very good at basketball, but sometimes that's the way it is.
Especially rebounding.
Hey, there's one line that will describe him. Yvonne, make basket. Yvonne, take charge. Remember with Whoopi Goldberg and that one dude? That's what he reminds me of. I mean, he's just like a guy that's just, I don't know how. I mean, I get height, but come on. So, I don't know. We'll see what Ibaka does there, but I'm not a happy fan of the 3 second rounders we gave up for him.
Well, second round picks in basketball really don't equate to much. I mean, there's only been
not all the time though.
Yeah, well, no, there's only been one player really who has been a second round guy who went. I mean, there's only been one player that's ever been a second round guy and won an MVP.
Yeah,
and it just so happens that he continually wins the MVP. So I mean, but he is by far the best second round pick ever. Most second round picks play in the G League. That's the truth.
Yeah,
of it.
true.
Well, that's true.
So you're not really giving up. Like if you're giving up a first round pick, like even in the 20s, minus the COVID year, because COVID year screwed everything up because you weren't able to really determine. If it wasn't for COVID, we would have never have gotten Maxey, as a Sixers. So excuse me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
All right.
We can talk about everything that Pags just said is full of crap.
So did you see the clip I sent you yesterday about Doc Rivers?
No, I wanted to, and it wouldn't load for me. I don't know if my phone's having issues or what. Can you just give me the brief recap on it?
Yeah, so it's hilarious. If you're watching right now, look this up. It was a soundbite from Doc Rivers. He was being interviewed because they are 1-4 in his first 5 starts, and he was going off about how about the locations of the games, and he literally said,
really,
that the schedule makers have never been on an airplane before. And that's why these were scheduled together and they were hard to get to. And his team was just tired. I'm like, what are you even talking about?
That's just a guy that just has no other reason for losing than just to make up an airline crazy excuse. Let me ask you this, Bo. Based on all of that, do you think that the brass of Milwaukee are having buyer's remorse?
They better be. Because the guy
do you think that they're ready to let go of Budenholzer?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is they just let go of a guy that had them, winning 70% of their games. And now in the last 5, they're 1-4. I mean, if you don't have buyer remorse, I don't know what's wrong with you.
And let me ask you another question. You got all this damn talent. He's got a lot of talent on this team.
A lot of talent.
Are we starting to see now that maybe Doc Rivers just isn't it? Because let's be honest, the one championship he got with Garnett, Pierce, Allen, they didn't have to coach that team. Dudes, by the time he got all them dudes, they had been in the league so damn long, they could have been coaches themselves. That team was a well-oiled machine. They all talked together. They all knew each other. They all knew what they needed to do. He just needed to be out there to call timeouts and maybe give and substitute some players when they needed it. But let's be honest, that team was already self-functioning. Do you think that maybe Doc Rivers just isn't that good?
I mean, I've kind of always thought that, but
I mean, I agree. I agree.
What a perfect time to come back into the conversation. God, I am so happy the Bucks have Doc Rivers. Glenn Rivers is by far, you know what? He won one championship in spite of his players.
Right.
He
Exactly.
stinks as a coach. He stinks as a coach.
So I got the soundbite right here. So let's listen to this hilarious nonsense right here.
Yeah, just the Utah game, you kind of knew, altitude back to back. Whoever scheduled a Dallas, Utah, have never been on an airplane in their life, or no time zones, So that was just a tough one. We knew that. I guarantee you, when they looked at that before the year started, they were like, "This was going to be a brutal game for us." End of a trip, legs, you can just see it. We've got a lot of injuries right now, so guys are playing more extended minutes. I think that's and you know what? They're playing harder on defense.
That's a guy that literally is just like, I think as his speech is going along, he's just got all these little like excuse thoughts that goes through his brain, and he's just sorting through them as the speech goes along, because it's so chopped up and pieced together. I mean, come on, bro. If you're just speaking out your ass, come on, just say you lost. Take the damn loss. And let's go.
You're going to come out and be like, oh yeah, they've never been on an airplane before. Like, what are we even talking about right now? So we didn't call it bloody basketball. We called it combat basketball. And that is very accurate. It was very competitive. And generally the game ended with, we would play a full length game. But man, there were some injuries along the way for sure.
And was it one-on-one that we're talking about here?
It was
Just
full court one-on-one.
Yeah, that's not the way that you should play.
Oh, it was good times.
Oh, I got to imagine, because the hip check is not meant for basketball.
Well, and we were playing on in a park, right? So this is a concrete floor. Like, this isn't
like
asphalt. That's what I'm figuring. You're playing on asphalt.
What it was. Yep, absolutely.
So
when you got hip checked
wasn't the smooth concrete. It was that brushed concrete, so it has all the rivets in it. So you're
absolutely
yeah, buddy.
Yep.
Because there's a difference playing on smooth concrete. Smooth concrete is not that bad. No different than a damn hardwood floor. But brushed concrete. Oh,
yeah, no, this was blacktop. The grainy blacktop
tar stuff where they put the tar in there to fill up the cracks and all. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've played on that plenty of times. My basketball prowess comes to I can cover anybody. One of my stepdaughters, and the reason why I had to jump off was my baby's mama came over, to do a couple of things real fast, so I had to take care of that.
Do a couple of things real fast. That was real quick.
Yeah,
listen. There's a reason why I called her baby's mama and not, my woman. You know what I mean? So,
hey,
she was a Dallas Cowboys fan too.
Said, you never know what you're gonna find out on this show. This show is revealing. It's almost like Oprah Winfrey meets any show off of sports networks and just merge the two together. It's amazing.
But anyways, now I lost my train of thought. What I was talking about.
I bet you did.
My basketball. My basketball prowess. Like I said, I could cover. And I had a stepdaughter who was very tall. She was. And they wanted her to play basketball, and she just didn't want to play. I'm like, listen, you are tall. Here's two. And you're a female, so all you have to do is just stick your hands up in the air, get in front of somebody, stick your hands up, and you are going to be great at playing. You don't need to do anything else. Get the ball, give it to somebody else, and put your hands up in the air, and you would play great. So
she played volleyball instead.
She did play volleyball.
Yep.
She did play volleyball.
Hey, let me ask you guys this: have y'all ever played two sports at the same time, like simultaneously? Let me give you a hint. I knew when I played basketball, it's only 5'9", a little stocky, wasn't as fast. So rather than sit there and try to chase all these quick ones, I just trip them on defense. I trip them, and then they hit and then they came up and they were pissed off. So we go straight from basketball into boxing, and yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I just knew that like basketball was never my sport. I'm the guy that I it just wasn't. I was too slow, but I could play defense now. I could run the guy over. Well, that's a foul. What's a foul? It's a street ball. Come on.
Right. I don't see any blood. What are you talking about? No fouls.
Blood.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh, wait, no, there is. You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, they always ended up that way, you know. And I came from my parents were moderate, middle, lower class. So we were in I don't want to say the ghetto, but it was damn near the ghetto. And yeah, you had to be a tough kid. And I realized real quick. Now football was more my thing, but baseball a little bit. Yeah. Basketball.
Well, for basketball, like I said, I was always very good at covering somebody.
Yeah.
I also, again, and that was where I didn't pay attention to the ball. I paid attention to the guy's sternum and hips because
I was looking at the weight.
Yeah, you can't. If you follow the ball, you will get beat every time. Time. And that took me a while to learn, you know.
Yeah.
But
where the waist goes, so does the ball.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with football. They teach you football when you're tackling. Look at the waist.
Yep. No, I was good on D, but shooting wise, I was a perimeter shooter. I was a 3-point shooter.
Did you have a pretty good 3-point shot there?
Yeah. I was good from 3. It's really where I practiced because most of my friends are significantly taller than me.
Yeah.
Right. I'm 5'10", like I'm not a big guy. But a lot of my friends are somewhere between 6'3" and 6'5". Right. So we'd be playing basketball against each other, even though I could jump like that, you know, their wingspan was a little bit higher than I could get. Right. So I ended up being able to shoot, you know, from way outside.
So you were a catch and shoot kind of guy.
I was a better catch and shoot guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't realize Thaddeus Young was still in the league. How about that?
Bro,
Thaddeus
I don't
Young's
like
still
that
in
trade.
the league.
That trade's horrible.
I didn't know that either.
And Spencer Dinwiddie goes to the Raptors. Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young are going to Brooklyn. I did not realize that. That did get reported here as well. So I wanted to update you guys on that as we are giving you up to the minute updates. You know about the NBA.
I think Toronto got the better part of that deal.
I think that's done probably more for money.
Oh, absolutely, it's done for money.
I'd be willing to bet that Schroeder's probably at the end of his contract, and Dinwiddie is a situation. I feel like that they're blowing up Brooklyn.
They might as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Seriously, they might as well blow it up and start over.
Well, they got Ben Simmons, so he's a good piece to build around.
True.
I don't know how you can say that with a straight face.
Yep, I like it.
Hey, listen, you get rid of Ben Simmons, and their therapy bill will go down by 20%, maybe even 40%.
Yeah,
no, I think OKC should go get Ben Simmons because since they took our team, I'd like them to lose as much as possible.
Oh yeah, you know, hey, real quick, since you're a Seattle guy, we were talking about earlier on one of our shows. We were talking about people who should have their numbers retired and things like that. And I was like, I still can't believe that Gary Payton hasn't been retired, even that by Oklahoma Thunder, who used to be the Seattle. That I'm surprised that Gary Payton hasn't had his number retired.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's OKC, so
yeah.
All the championships that they have won.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit ago. How many championships OKC have won, and that I am still 100% in belief that it was Nelson Mandela, the Mandela effect, because there was never any basketball in Seattle. All you guys in Seattle are just remembering false. It's just a falsehood.
Yeah, I sat in empty arenas for some reason.
You know what? Hey, Houston tried to deny the Mandela effect by bringing the Oiler colors back to U of H, and the NFL said, nope, Mandela effect is still in effect. You would give up those damn colors. They never existed.
Yeah, I know. I said this the moment Robert started talking because I know that Robert hates the NBA right now because
Oh yeah.
I don't know Robert at all, but I know that he is not a fan. He is not a fan of the NBA, and
Yep.
he is more than happy to let you know every time he can. So
Absolutely.
it is
Yeah.
definitely a part of that. So anyways, as we are at the top of the hour here, so we are going to do our station identification break, and when we come back, I've got the prop sheet that we are going to be all all going on, and we're going to see who wins between the three of us
All
on
right.
the prop sheet. So, and we'll be able to figure that all out. We're going to do that today. So, stay tuned for the second hour of Coast to Coast in just a few moments.
Right back.
I mean, you can see right now without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this
Oh,
team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, you guys any?
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you. Your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And we are back with the second hour of Coast to Coast. And as I said before we went to the break, I've got the prop sheet that we are going to be bidding on or betting on between the three of us. The three of us, I feel like out of all of us, I'm probably the best one suited for this, but we are going to find out here. Yes, the Sixers still do have some time, and we're going to keep up. We're going to keep up with this. Hield, I think, was a good pickup for us as well. Yeah, I agree that he's been on our list for a couple of years, but better late than never, especially right now when we ain't got nobody that we're that can really play basketball right now because we seem to keep losing.
I love it, dude. You guys are like
right.
Dallas of the NBA, man. I freaking love it. Beautiful thing.
All right. So here we go. We have the prop sheet. Make sure you guys can play along at home as well, but I'm not going to keep track of your stuff so you guys could all lie and say that you guys got them all right. We're going to know better. Anyways, and this is how this will work. The rules. We're going to answer every question. Every correct answer is worth 1 point. Whoever has the most points wins. Very simple. If we are tied at the end, we will have a tiebreaker question that deals with the points, the total points of the Super Bowl that'll determine the ultimate winner. This is between the three of us, who is going to be the ultimate Super Bowl 58 champion between the three of us. Here we go. We're going to start with the pregame questions. Question number 1. Will the length of the national anthem be over or under 99 and a half seconds?
God, that's a minute and 99, so that's a minute and 39 seconds.
And a half. Don't forget the half. Don't get the hook.
Right.
Who's singing it again?
Reba
McEntire.
I'm going under.
I'm going over.
Under. Over. I'm going with the under. I've only been saying it tons. McLovin with the over. Question number 2. Who will be the first coach to be shown during the national anthem?
Reed. I'm playing Taylor Swift on that.
I'll go. Let's see. KC's the home team. Is that right?
It is.
KC is the home team.
Go with your heart, bro. Go with your heart. Go with your heart.
I'm going to go with Kyle. I'm going to go with Kyle.
Of course you are.
And I'm going to go with Reed as well.
Okay.
Shanahan. So, question number 3. The primary color of Reba McEntire's boots during the national anthem, is it they're going to be black or any other color?
Damn, that's hard.
I'm
going to say any other color. I'm going to play the spread there and go any other color. I feel like Reba is a little bit more colorful than that.
Sure. I'll go the other way. I'll go black.
Of course you will.
Why not?
I'm starting to get a pattern here, Bo.
Just whatever you're not picking.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the any other color too. I actually think they're going to be red. Okay. She's a redhead, so that's where I'm going.
I think Reba's going to want out. I think she's going to be a little bit flashy. It's her moment in the sun, and black would just be too mundane. I don't think she's going to do that. So
I think if she's got actually, if the question should be, are her boots going to go over her knee or not?
Oh,
that's a better question. That's a tougher question.
For Reba, I'd go no.
I go yes. I think that they would go
yes
just
too,
above
right?
the knee. Just above the knee.
Yeah.
I got you.
Totally get that.
Just my thought, but that's not a question. We don't get this question, so that's not part of our.
That should be a tiebreaker.
What will be the result of the coin toss?
I'm going heads.
Sure, tails.
Like I didn't see that coming. Maybe I was going to say tails, just so you would say, see, it's all good.
See, and I got tails too. I'm going tails, never fails there as well. Now we're going to firsts. Will the opening kickoff be a touchback?
Yes. I do believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's the first one that all three of us are in agreement. Yes, is what I say. Will the first offensive play of the game be a run or a pass?
Woo-wee.
I'll go run here. I'll go run.
I feel like they're going to want to establish the run early, either side of it, to get either McCaffrey or Pacheco going.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm going to say run.
And I think it's going to be a screen.
Well, I mean, if it's backwards, it still goes down as a run, right?
Yep, but if it goes forwards, it's
Well, you better hope it goes forwards, Pags.
Well, I'll be okay with that because I will beat both of you guys on that. Which team will convert the first down?
So I think whoever gets the ball is going to convert the first.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that really. See,
So-
I really think that. I think that question will tie in with the coin toss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
You said
I'll
they're
go
the home
KC.
team,
I'll go KC.
and so I think the home team is the one that gets to call the coin toss. Correct.
the away
Like,
team.
they're the one that
The
gets
away
to say.
The away
So
team
the
gets
away team gets to call heads or tails.
Yeah.
So if the away team
And
is San
typically,
Francisco-
but that doesn't matter because whoever wins the toss typically doesn't get the ball first.
Yeah, they usually
No,
defer.
but you have to know who that is because they're going to defer. So that's the way it goes back. So if San Francisco calls it and it lands on heads, either way, San Francisco is going to defer to Kansas City. So that way they get the ball second half. So I think Kansas City. So I'm going to go Kansas City.
I also am going to go Kansas City because I believe that even if the 49ers get the ball first, they start out very slow initially. And ultimately, I think that they could go 3 and out and that the 49ers, the Chiefs will get the first down. Question number 8. Team to punt first.
I'm going to go San Francisco.
Yep. That's what I got too.
That's all three of us again, San Francisco. And I agree with that statement for the same reason I just said there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that
was actually the reason why I was going with it because I totally agree with you. I do think they start off slow.
Mm-hmm.
Team to record the first sack.
San Francisco. I feel like Chase Young and Bosa, somebody in that one's getting that sack.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. Same brand.
And you got Randall Gregory. One of those three defensive ends is getting that thing. Or it could be Fred Warner.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to be Kansas City, and I think
Okay.
it may not even happen till the third quarter.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, will the game's first accepted penalty be offensive or defensive?
This will be a false start.
I'm going offense.
I think, well, shit, though, man. I mean, there's always going to be a pass interference, though.
Nah, it's going to be a holding or a false start.
Or lining up in the neutral zone.
Well, no, I think they've already sent him out of the country, so.
Oh, damn. I'll go offense. Shit, but I don't. I think it's going to be defense.
So go defense.
I know. But I'm battling in my head right now. I'm trying to play out the scenarios. I am going to go defense.
Defense. Yeah, I think it's going to be offensive as well. All right. Will the first touchdown be over or under 9.5 yards?
I'm going to go under. So I feel like it's either going to be a run.
I'll go over on that.
Okay. I'm going to go under.
I think they're going to be, it's going to be a fight to get in the end zone here. I'm going under as well. And I don't think that that's going to happen until at least the second quarter either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Will the first field goal be over or under 35.5 yards?
35.5.
35.5.
Does that include extra points or?
First field goal.
Just okay.
Stay on point. We're not talking extra points here, Bo. Calm down.
Hey, it depends on what it is they want to call.
That doesn't even make sense. In the world of football, that doesn't make sense. Bo, you are no longer allowed to ask questions. That was your one. Hey, Bo, that was your one. Look, you know how when you to play and you lose a timeout? You just lost a timeout. That was your one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll use my other one to mute you.
Yeah, like that hasn't happened before.
Right.
I'm almost damn near mute. I'm gonna go over. I think it's gonna be like a 40 or 50 yarder.
Exactly.
Again, I think it's going to be under because they're going to get stopped close to the end zone.
Okay.
So, just my thought. The method of the first offensive touchdown, pass or run.
I'm gonna go run. And again, I think it goes back to what you were saying, Pags.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's going to be a pass because I think it's going to be one of the two tight ends.
Okay.
And that's why
I
I thought
totally get that. I totally get
that's
that.
why I thought it was going to be more than 10 yards. I figured it was going to be one of the plays across the middle that both of them can hit, and both of them have the ability to turn up a couple of yards, and so I think they can get.
Now, I want to confirm something. So if Debo gets it on a reverse, that's all considered run, correct? I mean, all that's.
Yep, it doesn't matter who's running the ball. It doesn't matter who's running the ball. If it's going to be a rush, not a pass, not a reception.
And that's not why I'm going run. I think San Francisco gets it on a run, and I think it's it could be either a Debo or McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible.
We'll see.
I'm going pass. I'm going pass as well. I think that it's going to be a completion. I actually see it being a slant right in the end zone, like a 6-yard slant, a 6-yard slant play. Question number 14, method of the first turnover by either team, interception or other?
I'm going pick. Yep.
I think Brock Purdy is going to throw a pick. I really do. So I'm going to go pick. Is that the question? Fumble, pick, or?
Well, it's the other is like, so if somebody was to knock the ball out and it gets a
Well, yeah, it has to be a fumble or a pick. I mean,
but no, they can get a touchback. I think that's what they're calling. And I'm not sure if they mean a turnover on downs.
I got you.
I'm going to go pick. I think pick. I think either Mahomes or I think interception is going to be the first one before they get a fumble.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's going to be other. I think somebody's going to fumble.
Well, wouldn't that be just fumble then? Wouldn't be other?
Yeah, it's either fumble or pick.
No, there is no other. It's pick or other. Pick or other. That's it.
Oh,
okay. Well, whatever then. I said, I don't like that.
Because
I don't like that. That gives you too much advantage your way.
Well, no,
that's
I mean, the odds of a safety are so low because that's technically a turnover because you get points.
It is. But I just don't understand. I mean, what other way could it be other than a pick?
Well, turnover on downs. So, I mean, that would be.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so if he went 4 and they didn't get, oh snap. See, I think you get a little bit more. That's not really fair because we're going one specific, but you're going to take the whole rest of the categories or categories.
Yeah, still interception.
It should be fumble, pick, or other.
Yeah, I mean the interception.
Yeah, listen, we're making this very simple. It's an either or type of situation. We're making it only one of 2 options here. So stop crying, okay?
Well, I am going to cry. I'm crying a little bit. I feel like you got an unfair advantage.
Will the team that scores first win the game?
No. I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes, too, because 82% of the time it's what happens. And that doesn't say that here. I just know that. Who will score the first touchdown? Listen carefully. Christian McCaffrey, Isaiah Pacheco, or Travis Kelce, or any other player?
I'll go any other player.
So they're gonna defer to San Francisco. I'm gonna go Kelsey. I'm gonna go Kelsey.
That's who I have. I have Kelsey scoring the first touchdown. All right. Here at halftime, we're at the halftime questions. Question number 17. Will Alicia Keys make an appearance?
Does she even have ties to any of this? Or is that just a random person?
I don't know. Is she seeing Usher? I don't know.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think so. Taylor Swift will.
Maybe.
No, Taylor Swift will. I promise you, Taylor Swift. See, that should be one. Oh, Pax, can we put a tiebreaker? How many minutes do you think Taylor Swift gets of TV appearance time?
Don't you worry about it. There might be a question that asks that.
I know. You know how I know? Because great minds think alike, and Mohawks think alike. Even though I'm gonna get my Mohawk put in tomorrow, but because I'm gonna let my hair grow out. But.
So Alicia Keys, yes or no?
I'll go no.
I don't think she does. I don't think she does.
I don't even know who Alicia Keys is, so I'm gonna go no too.
You don't know who Alicia Keys is.
Will Justin Bieber make an appearance?
Where are you
Probably
getting these people from?
So you got a yes on Bieber?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go
Can
yes.
I just ask Bo why you think Justin Bieber would make an appearance?
Because
it's not going to influence my answer, but I'm just curious.
Because it's a PR move, right? Because they're going to show every celebrity that can afford to go to the game.
That's a good answer.
Like these are all coin flips because I have no idea.
And I have no. I'm gonna say no. I know both saying yes, but I just don't think so. So I'm gonna go no.
Sure. Yeah.
So the only reason why I'm going to go yes here.
That's a good point.
The only reason why I'm going to go yes here is because isn't Usher Canadian? And so is Justin Bieber.
I don't know.
Usher's
that's
Canadian?
The only reason.
What?
I thought Usher was Canadian.
What?
I have no idea.
And I'm not saying that black people can't be in Canada. I'm not saying that at all. I just don't think Usher's Canadian. I thought he was like American.
Google it. I don't know.
Man. Look at you trying to get the show canceled.
Question number 19 here. Will Usher wear sunglasses at any point during the performance?
Yes.
Number one, Usher was born in Dallas, Texas, so do your Canadian bullshit. Number two, yes. Canadian. You know what? I'm gonna speak for Usher.
Oh man, please don't.
I got a number between 1 and 5 on the hand. Which number do you think it is when you say I'm Canadian? When I'm really born in Dallas, freaking Texas, cowboy baby, come on, man. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm over it. Next question.
Oh, that's why I've never heard of this guy and he sucks.
Yeah, right. That's so much hate. That is so much hate. I can at least tell you that I like Will Smith and he's from Philly.
Will the total number of songs played be over or under 9.5?
In time.
Total number of different songs. They're not going to play the entire songs. That's not how it works at the Super Bowl. They give you.
Oh, you're saying that 9 different songs over or under?
Not over or under 9.5.
I'll go with 9.5. Okay.
Shit. So yeah, I mean, yeah, because he has enough songs that they can blend together. I'll go yes there.
And how long is the halftime performance?
It's like 30 minutes.
Typical.
It's actually only about 16 minutes
for the show, right? But it's
right.
But the whole halftime experience is about 30
minutes. About 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But his actual music time is 16, correct?
I don't know that exact amount. Like I don't have any idea.
Yeah, it's somewhere around in there. And when you figure they're going to play about 40 seconds of each song,
But is it just Usher, or is there somebody else that's performing?
Oh, I'm sure there's.
Listen, we don't know these questions. Do I look like I run the NFL halftime show?
We didn't get a copy of the script.
You're done with your allotted questions. Yes or no? Will there be over or under 9.5?
Why are you so mean? I'm going to say under 9 songs.
9.5. And I am going to go with over.
I'm also going to say you're a meanie. Can we get a
question 21? Will Usher perform Love in This Club?
That's a good one. This is totally a guess. I'm going to say yes. Only because I don't know all of his songs, and so I'm just going to say yes.
Man.
That's like saying, now Kiss, will they play Love Gun? I wish Kiss was doing this. I would say, hell yes, they play Love Gun.
No, Kiss is going to be playing, I think, The Draft. Why not? Detroit Rock City. Yeah, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask one question? Why do y'all think that Kiss has never played the Super Bowl? As big as that band is, why do you think they've never gotten a shot at it?
Probably because Simmons always wants to get paid.
Well, don't they all?
Anybody who performs the Super Bowl does not get paid.
Oh, it's a free and engage or free performance?
Yes, it is. Usher is
not
not getting paid for this.
You get crazy amounts of endorsements and stuff from it, but
right. I mean,
You
you
get-
think about
I
it.
just didn't
You're
realize
on you're on the largest stage ever.
Well, I
really,
understand.
'cause-
Yeah.
So there's more people that watch the halftime show because of all the Swifties.
Right.
Than
I mean, it
So-
makes sense that they don't get paid. I'm just saying I didn't realize that they didn't get paid. I thought they did get paid.
Love in the Club there, Bo.
yeah, I'll go yeah.
Interesting. That's
Yeah, I got to imagine if that's one of the songs he sings, he's going to sing it. Yeah, so I.
He's got a pretty.
Hey, listen, you're talking to somebody. You're talking to somebody who did a video.
Question 22, please. Can we get to question 22?
You're talking to somebody who last year at the Super Bowl, I'm there
Why
at
do
the
you get
halftime
to
show
talk about it?
showing. Excuse me, don't make me have to mute you. I'm doing a video talking about, hey, we're up by 10 points, and we got Cardi B in the background singing. It was Rihanna.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, so I called her Cardi B. Yeah, that was bad on my part. And
You
that was
really do
that
gotta
was the
flex
reason
up.
why we
You
lost.
You need
because
to
I was
your
the-
R&B and R&B and rhythm and rap. You need to go through all of that and read just. You need to dial back in. You're not dialed in enough. You need to dial back in.
So, we're getting requests to mute you. We're getting requests to mute you. Mute
That's
him.
amazing. That is
They're
fantastic.
coming out with their pitch. They're coming out with their pitchforks. Question 22. We're part of the in-game props portion now. Will both teams score at least 1 point in every quarter?
Man, that's a good one.
One more time, repeat that question.
Will both teams score at least 1 point in every quarter?
Man, it's the first quarter that I'm worried. I'm gonna go no.
And it is that first quarter, and not so much on the Kansas City side as it is the San Francisco side.
Well, especially because they're going to lean into this running game, so they're
Well,
going to.
they are, and I'm thinking, like, and Pags really got me thinking earlier because I remember when San Francisco played Detroit, I don't think they scored in that first quarter. San Francisco. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. Damn.
Well, and KC was held scoreless the last half of, against Baltimore. So I mean, it can happen. So I'm going to go no. I don't think they score in every frame.
Yeah, I'm going to go no too, because I really feel like based on that Detroit game and how Detroit played them and how they responded and came out slow, I'm going to say no as well based on that.
All right, I think that was one of the easiest questions that we got asked here. No, is absolutely not going to happen. It's going to be a low scoring game, and I think it's absolutely going to be no. Will there be a missed field goal in the game?
No, I don't think so.
I'll go yeah.
And by Robert Wardell, I have adamantly supported Seattle. But if you want me to mute you, I say F Seattle. Unless you're an Alice in Chains fan. Then I say
that wasn't even him that said it. You're just mad.
No, Robert Wardell said mute me.
No, it was West Coast win.
No,
it was West Coast win.
West Coast win.
See, this is what happened. This is what happens. The glasses aren't working. Time to upgrade the prescription there.
I don't think it's the glasses' fault.
I really can't read that well. And all the W's look the same. So no offense. I'm not trying to stereotype W's, but West Coast win. I apologize. Robert Waddell,
not being able to read well makes sense.
Everybody. So West Coast win.
Right.
West Coast
Question 24. Will any player score 2 touchdowns in the game, not including passing touchdowns? And we're not talking quarterbacks throwing for 2 touchdowns.
Wait, you said not including passing?
Yeah, you're not including the quarterback that throws for 2 touchdowns.
Oh, the quarterback himself. I'm going to say yes because I think Kelsey gets 2. I really think Kelsey's going to have a game. So I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I'll go yes because it could be Kelsey and it could be CMC.
I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, I think Kelsey does it.
Yeah, if it's anybody that scores 2 touchdowns, it's going to be somebody like Rice because they're not covering him or something like that.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah. Will any non-quarterback record a passing attempt?
I don't know. How many trick plays do you think this? I'm going to say no, man. I don't think they're doing trick plays in this one. I don't. If it did, no. I'm going to say no for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go no here also.
I was trying to think this because Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know. I remember last year the ring around the Rosie thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and it's going to be CMC that throws the ball.
Exactly, because CMC has done it before, but I don't think it's going to be this game. So I'm still saying no. But I get where you're going with that, Bags, because that was exactly what I was thinking at first.
Will Travis Kelce record 7 or more receptions?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yes. Yes.
Bo.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm going to go with yes as well.
I think that's probably about where he ends up, is about 7.
Will any player register 100 or more receiving yards?
Yes.
I'm going to go no.
I'm also going to go yes, and I think Kelce gets over 100 yards.
And that's exactly right. But it could be also, honestly, it could be even Rice. Rice that gets over 100. I mean, I think either one of those two guys. It's either going to be Rice or it's going to be Kelce. I see Kelce getting the 2 touchdowns. I see Kelce doing a lot of damage, within the 20, right? I think Rice gets some deep balls. For some reason, I'm looking at Rice to get over 100.
Well, we'll see about that. So, question 28. Who will record more passing yards?
Ayuk, Jennings, Kittle. I mean, Purdy could easily. That's hard. Because I feel like if McCaffrey doesn't get going, it's going to be a Purdy show. I'm going to say
I'll
Purdy.
take a flyer on Purdy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Purdy as well. Because I feel like, Bo, and I don't know if that's what you were thinking, but I feel like if Kansas City gets back early, if KC comes up or if CMC doesn't get going early, I think it's going to be a lot of passing to Ayuk and Jennings and Kittle.
I got Mahomes in that one. So I think Mahomes is going to be one with more. Will either coach win a challenge in the game?
Oh God, who knows, man? That's just a guess. That's a damn guess if I ever heard one. That's like saying red or black on the roulette wheel. I'm gonna go with no too as well. I know Paul Wadley is saying no, and I'm gonna agree with him. I'm gonna say no.
If someone were to, it'd be Reed. He has decent success at it. As I recall, Kyle Shanahan kind of doesn't. But I'll go. I think I'll go.
Say yes if you want to.
No, I think I'll go no here.
Okay.
I am going to go yes because it seems like there's always something that's got to get changed one way or another. Will there be a score in the final 2 minutes of the game?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna say yes.
And I'm going to go with yes as well. I think somebody's going to at least kick a field goal.
Yep.
Team to score the longest touchdown.
Single throw or drive?
Team to score the longest touchdown.
Sam
I'm gonna say yardage per play. So, God, it's hard. They get Jennings, you got Ayuk, Kelsey, Rice. I'm gonna go KC.
I think San Francisco is going to score the longest touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be the one that gets lucky here. Question 32. Will Taylor Swift be shown during the broadcast 6 or more times?
Yes.
Yeah. Taylor. So you're lucky she ain't every 2 times every quarter.
No, she's not going to be shown 6 times. Well, I mean,
no. You got it.
But during the broadcast, does that include afterwards? Like after the game?
That does include halftime as well.
Halftime, they're not going to show her unless she's on stage.
Well, I mean, like in the TV, yeah. You don't think some kind of way during the halftime they don't bring her in some kind of way?
They will.
No, I don't think so.
They'll pan the crowd, whether or not she's in that pan, maybe, but they're not going to focus on her for sure.
Right. 33. Question 33. Which team will win Super Bowl 58?
I got San Fran.
All I hear is Kelsey calling Bo a jabroni. Yes, Casey.
All right. Question 34.
Niners by a field goal.
Will the liquid dumped on the winning coach be colored or clear?
Colored.
God. What was that shit? I'm gonna say colored too. I just feel like if it's Gatorade, it's gonna be some kind of color.
Yeah, I think it's going to be colored as well. They don't put water out there. It's definitely colored. People like flavor. Question 35 and last question. Will a non-quarterback win MVP?
No, it's gonna be a QB.
So you're saying
Either
no.
Mahomes or Purdy.
You're saying no. Then that answer is no for
Yeah,
you.
I'm sorry. I apologize. No.
Yeah, I'll go no, but I think CMC has a real shot, but I'm still going to go no.
CMC only gets shots that get his ass involved enough. If it's like Detroit, where he only gets 38 yards, which I can see that happening.
Yeah.
I'm going yes. And
Yeah.
I think Kelsey could be the one that does it.
Okay.
You know what? And I really hope that I'm wrong on that one. I would like to see Kelsey get it. I mean, as much as
I'd like to see. Yeah, it would be cool to see him win the MVP, and then as he's fighting for his right to party, he then gets down on one knee with Taylor and does it on the stage.
and does the whole engagement thing.
So,
that'd be badass.
So the question is, does she propose to him?
No, well, that would be cool. That would be cool.
That would be unique. That would definitely be unique. And the tiebreaker is the total points scored in Super Bowl 58. I have it at 43.
All right. Well, that means I have to adjust mine then. Because I was going
43.
Yeah, I was going 23-20. So I'll go 24-21. There we go.
And I'm going to go 28-21, whatever that number is.
So 49.
49. Yeah.
So 43, 45, and 49. Watch it wind up being 44, and it would screw us all up.
I was going to say we should have done it Price is Right, right?
Well,
like
no. If that was the case.
24, you picked 20, 22.
I would imagine it'd be whoever's closer. So if it was 44, then I would imagine Pags would win that. Because if you went 43, but you didn't go over, then it would be Pags. So I think we would just do whoever that got the closest to it at that point.
That's if we need the tiebreaker, because there ain't no chance that you guys are winning this one. I got this all right. I think that I have about 26 of these right.
You know, I will tell you this. My wife said, Jason, as long as you're better than marginal, you're a winner. And so I'm already a winner because I'm pretty sure I'm better than marginal. So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to run with it.
I don't know who marginal is, so I can't answer one way or another with that.
Marginal would be like if I got half right. If I got half
No. I'm talking about who the person marginal is. I don't know marginal. So if you're better than marginal, maybe I would give you that, but I don't know who marginal is.
It is clear. It is clear that in this broadcast, in this group of people, I am the unsilent majority, like Paulie said in Rocky 4 specifically. I am the unsilent majority to Dolph Lundgren. There you have it.
Okay, you feel better about yourself now?
No, not really, but it's okay.
All right, good.
I just like that you put the bar really low, like on the floor.
That's exactly correct.
Man. You know what they say, Bo? Hey, when you're at the bottom, there's no place to go but up. So I'm going to skyrocket to the top, baby. Skyrocket.
All right. So we got done those questions. Let's see if anybody. Hold on. Let's see if there was any more trades that occurred. 2 minutes ago, something happened. Let's see. It was. Oh, look at this. The Bucks receive Patrick Beverly. The Sixers receive Cameron Payne and a second-round pick in 2027. Oh, here's another one. The Mavs make a move for Washington. They get P.J. Washington. The Hornets receive Grant Williams and Seth Curry and a first-round pick in 2027.
Let me ask you a question. If you're Seth Curry and you're constantly going between team to team, and you never quite settle in, do you ever think at their family function, Seth looks at Seth and says, you know what? You are the worst thing in this family. Because you can't
Actually,
live on a team.
The problem is that he's got a better shooting percentage than his brother, Steph.
That's
So
true. That's true. But he have you just noticed? I mean, like Seth Curry is just nothing more than a trade piece. He's never ever settled on a team and said, "This is my team."
well,
And I
I mean,
gotta
he was in
imagine in the
Philadelphia
Del
for a minute.
Curry family. What was that? I mean, I'm just saying the Del Curry family. That's got to be kind of like my brother Steph, and I'm just Seth. Like, yeah.
Got you. Well, I understand. And
That's a competitive
I got
household. But would you agree that's a competitive household?
probably. They
I would
probably worked out getting themselves to feel better about themselves. So,
I mean, that's probably no different than Archie, Peyton, and Eli, And now, of course, Archie Manning. That you talk about a competitive dinner table. Jesus.
so funny. It's this actually. It's interesting that the Sixers made this trade. They traded Daniel House and a second round 2024 pick for an undisclosed return.
Huh.
That's weird.
That is weird. That is an odd thing. I've never heard that
What does that
before.
even
Yeah, I
mean?
don't think I've ever seen that. That's bizarre.
Yeah, like actually, as I think about that, it's like, is that like a player to be named later?
Yeah.
I find that
That is
interesting.
interesting.
They're gonna play cards, and whoever loses is who gets traded.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know that in baseball they do a player to be named later. The problem is that they don't like doing that anymore because that player to be named later could be the same player that you traded, and that means somebody would get the team on loan, and that's that they don't want that to happen anymore. So that's part of the goofiness of whatever. But anyway, so Patrick Beverly goes back to the Bucks as they're trying to revamp their team so that maybe Glenn Rivers can win a game.
The one thing I don't like much about Patrick Beverly, and remember, he was a Houston Rocket. The only thing about Patrick Beverly that I honestly kind of like is the way that he is able to shit talk. He can get in people's heads. And that's the only part of Patrick Beverly's game that I actually like. And I think for Milwaukee that might play out, kind of like PJ Tucker back in the day, who also, by the way, was another Houston Rocket. PJ Tucker gave them that sense of toughness down low when they won that championship, by the way, with PJ, when they brought PJ in. So maybe Patrick Beverly gives them that little bit of an edge on that side of the stick to give them that. I don't think so, but it could happen. But Milwaukee's always been one of those kind of teams. And PJ Tucker, man, I loved it when he played with Milwaukee and the way because I like to see him get his ring. I mean, he played with Houston forever and didn't get a ring. So.
Yeah, here's a big surprise that I'm seeing here as I'm reading some of the news stories that are coming past my right here. 92% of players want grass fields over turf. Big surprise, huh?
I would rather play on grass field, honestly, than turf. I feel like turf would lead to more injuries. I think grass field would be much better. I don't know. I've never played the sport at the professional level. I've only played it at the high school level. So, Bo, you kind of made it the farthest of all of us. What do you think?
So I've played on all three surfaces: grass, field turf, and astroturf. Yeah, I like the speed of field turf, right? Because you get a lot of bite. But yeah, you can definitely get hurt more. Although if it's inclement weather, give me grass every time. I love a good mud bowl or snow that's a ton of fun.
Yeah, but you would definitely have AstroTurf coming in as number 3, though, of all 3 surface types.
AstroTurf was 100% the worst surface you could play on. It you got rug burns from field turf, but nothing burned you up like AstroTurf, and it was essentially just laid down directly on concrete. So that is,
or in your case, on ice.
Well, on plywood. on plywood.
They would put the padding down. I know it's like, but
Yeah.
yes.
But yes. So hands down, that was the worst possible surface to play on. But field turf isn't bad, but yeah, you do have some very real injury concerns. But grass was always a ton of fun.
Yeah, here, listen to this. Here's something else that just came out there. The league and the union agreed to lift a ban on gambling for players from the Chiefs and 49ers after the Super Bowl. They will be permitted to gamble in casinos once the game is over.
Well, sure, it's the off season.
Let me ask you a question. No, Pat, and I didn't know that. So, if you were in the NFL prior to this, if NFL, MLB, NBA, whatever, were you ever allowed to just go to Vegas and just bet on things at all? Or, like, let's say if I was an NFL player, could I bet on NBA games? I mean, is that what they're kind of saying? Like, you weren't allowed to bet, period?
You could bet on other sports. You cannot.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot bet on the NFL in any capacity. You could bet on other sports, and you couldn't bet on any league facility. So you couldn't even be on your DraftKings app in the parking lot of a facility. If you were, you could get suspended if they could show that you made that bet on the property. So the fact that after the game
and you could be betting, and at that point you could also be betting. You could bet on like whether a movie is going to how much is it going to gross over or under?
Just gambling in general.
Like you can't even bet on that.
No, like any kind of gambling, if you're on league property, not allowed to do it. So the fact that after the season's over, you can bet on whatever. It's like, well, yeah, because the season's over. So you're obviously still not betting on the NFL. It's done.
Yeah. If I was the one doing this, I would say, you know what? If you're a player of whatever sport you're in, you're not allowed to bet in that sport. But if you want to bet in any other sport, I don't care because you don't have effect on that sport. But if you have an effect on the particular sport you're in, that should be the only sport you're not allowed to bet on. Yeah. I'm okay with betting on everything else, just not the particular sport you're in.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that they try to refrain from that in general. It's just athletes talk to other athletes, and that's where this would all come into play. You know what I mean? That's where they're like, oh yeah, maybe not the right way of doing that. To think that these guys aren't gambling anyways is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got to imagine.
You can't tell me that these players don't got third-party people betting for them, and it's not getting.
That's kind of what. That's exactly what we're saying. It's exactly what we're saying.
Of course, it's American people. Come on now.
No, that's why I laughed so much when so many of the guys got in trouble at the beginning of the season. It's just like literally have someone else place your bet. Like, what? Why are you being dumb?
Right. Exactly. And the fact that the NFL has all of these phones monitored to begin with is a little on the interesting side. You know what I mean? Like, Big Brother's always watching you.
Yeah.
So that's a real statement there too. Big Brother is always
multi-billion-dollar company. They don't want someone out there ruining its reputation. So I mean, it's all about protect the shield, right? So.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying, Paul. That's exactly
football,
correct.
Man, I'm telling you, baseball, basketball, it's more than just protecting the shield, right? I mean, it's everywhere.
Hey, real quick, while we have a few minutes left, what is this thing that you put here?
Who put what where?
That is the mayor of Vegas, basically low-key saying that Oakland should try and keep their team.
Wow. The mayor of Vegas is telling the A's to stay where they are. That's incredible.
So
crazy on her part.
She just doesn't want them there, or like, what does it say? Because that's too small for me to read.
Yeah, I can't read that craziness.
Yeah, so to go through to the bottom, she basically said, should it fail, Las Vegas has shown that it is a spectacular market for the franchise. Let's see, we got trying to find exactly where it is in it, but essentially, the A's would like to have a new ballpark on the water in Oakland, and that the ownership government there should listen to their great fans and try and make that dream come true. So she's basically imploring the Oakland government to try and keep their team there.
Yeah, because they don't like the riffraff from Oakland that came over with the Raiders. That's what it sounds like to me.
They already have an
Low
Oakland
key,
team.
are you saying that the Raiders ruined it for the A's?
I mean,
If the foo shits,
pretty much.
You can't tell me that crypto arena and the Raiders aren't bringing revenue into Vegas, though. And the only downside I would say this is Al Davis is a much better owner than the current ownership of the A's. I mean, the A's just believe in not spending anything.
yeah, but Mark Davis isn't. Mark Davis is an absolute tool bag.
Yeah.
And he's the owner. So, because Al Davis has been dead for a minute.
Yeah.
A hot minute at that. Yeah. I only hope that Stephen Jones will be better than Jerry. I hope he don't repeat the same, right?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the A's ownership. I'm not a fan of the way they do things or the way they have done things in the past. I don't think that they deserve to get rewarded with a franchise in a different place when they did absolutely nothing. Like all the other owners, like when the Phillies decided to build a ballpark, I know that they got some government funding, you know what I mean? But they had to pay it back. It was a government loan. You know what I mean?
I know we're getting close to getting out of here. But let me ask you guys a question, because it all goes to ownerships. It all goes to terrible ownerships. Yeah. And in all honesty, Jerry Jones, he got lucky with Jimmy Johnson. Okay. And they were able to get the Super Bowls that they got under Jimmy. But across the board, I got Dallas just having terrible ownership. Just terrible ownership. Do you think that, at some point, do you think that Dallas is ever going to right the ship with that ownership? Or do you expect Steven to fall in the same lines as Jerry? And really the more important question is, how do you guys, and this is what I understand, how can Jerry be such a good business owner, but let his pride overtake his ability to succeed at the next level? And I'm talking about post Jimmy Johnson, right? How does Jerry Jones let his ego supersede? That's just not good. I don't think Jerry Jones is good business in the NFL post Jimmy Johnson.
I mean, the value of the product would suggest otherwise. Right?
It would.
So,
but how much more would the product be if he just took the Robert Kraft model and hired a GM and hired a coach and then let those guys be much, much better for the brand?
I mean, you can argue that Jerry Jones has actually been a decent GM. They've put talent on the field.
Now, I think it's more at the play calling and coaching level.
Well, that's where his meddling becomes a problem. But him as a GM actually hasn't been bad as far as acquiring talent.
No. A talent, again, that's a scout level. Let's talk GM as a broad. It's more than just a scout level of players. It's got to be play calling and coach hirings. And I think that's where he falters. And I just don't understand how a guy can be so successful in business but not see that play calling is the thing that's look, everybody across the United States of America has a brain cell that watches football, knows that. So how does he not know that? I'm sorry, I'll be quiet. No.
And that's the end of our show.
I was trying to figure out where you were going. Like, are you just piling on that the Cowboys suck? I mean, we're gonna.
I'm just a realistic Cowboys. No, I'm just one of those realistic Cowboys fans. But I know to pick up cues from Pags. I watch Pags every time, and I watch his facial expressions, and I know when to shut the hell up.
No. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out.
I have learned.
I'm trying to figure out what your goal is.
Just saying, I feel like I just don't understand how a man could be so great at business and be terrible at the ownership of the Cowboys in terms of getting his team to the next level. We all know that the play calling, the coaches and stuff is the issue.
On the plus side, my show's what's next, so I'm not that worried about it. I'm trying to figure out exactly.
And we got a 1-star rating, for the Dallas Cowboys, so that's where it goes.
That's why there's an outline. It's not even full. It's not even a full 1 star.
Exactly. So listen, stay with us. Obviously, we have Bo's show next coming up. So definitely stay tuned for that. If you're on Roku, everybody else, come join us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, as we break down a little bit more about the Super Bowl and everything else that's going on with it as we get ready for Super Bowl Sunday. I also, I'm letting these guys know right now, I am not going to be here tomorrow because I am going to be doing a polar plunge. So I am going to be freezing my nuts off. So for charity.
Well, really, technically, it's peanuts, but
That being
continue.
said, everybody have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.